hope that's a sunrise and not a sunset. Because the nighttime in this game is brutal. So when you spawn in, you're most likely going to be on a coast like this, with water splashing. It's kind of serene, kind of nice. First thing you want to do, take inventory. Press tab, get up that inventory, and you're going to take your soda, hit tab again, and then in the bottom left, you can see what is in your hands. I have a Pepsi Cola. It's down there. Pepsi Cola. And that little filled in bit that on the mouse saying hold to drink. So we're going to drink our soda. And now it's going to disappear. And we're going to take our fruit, which can be different depending on how you spawn. It can be a plum, an apple, a pear. And the soda can be a Noda Cola, a Monk Bar, not a Monk Barbecue, a Monk Kvass, which is beer. Then you just want to go ahead and eat both of your foods, because you start off being thirsty and hungry. So you're just going to go ahead and eat both of that. So, the next thing you're going to want to do is try to figure out where you're at. So, to do that, we're going to go and look for a street sign. So, it looks like it's getting darker because I'm starting to see that static effect just a little bit. Oh, and there's another player. Already found another player. So we're not interested in that other player right now. We're interested in this town here where we can see and figure out where we are at. There's the other player. He's gonna come kill me. I'm feeling it right now. So caps lock to talk. Hey, what's up, bud? Then you can double click caps lock to continue talking. What?
Nowhere yet. Location.
I can't understand what you're saying, bud.
Yeah, that's fine.
See ya. So, I'd say that's a pretty typical coastal interaction. Coastal as in, we're on this coast right here. We both don't have any weapons, anything strong enough to kill each other really with. He's got nothing I need, I got nothing he needs. So, we're gonna come up to the street sign here. And try to remember the little Russian symbols, because I always have a hard time with that. It's I don't know how to pronounce that. Korhefen. I don't know. Anyways, next thing you're gonna want to do is, now that you found the street sign, is you're gonna want to go find Google, Bing, whatever you're using to look up the DayzTV.com map or the I Survive Dayz map. And this is why I prefer the Dayz TV map, because I can't click anything without agreeing to cookies. Anyways, go to the Dayz TV map. You're going to see a shitload of information. You don't need any of that. You're going to go vehicles off. Just turn off all that stuff but the towns. You want to see the towns. So, now we got to figure out where we're at. If we go, I think it's buildings, we can look at player spawns. Here you can see all the player spawns are just up along this coast here. This is all the different locations that you can spawn at. So, now that we've seen that, we know that we're going to be somewhere along here. So, if we go back to Dayz, look at the street sign again, and now it's getting really freaking dark. And as a Bambi, it's alright to just tab out of your game like that. It's not that bad if you die. You don't got anything important. So, I'm just sitting right at the street sign. But it's C-O, and then that's similar to an R in English, I believe. And then H-E for H-B-I-N. So we're going to go back to our map. And we're going to find the Russian letters. And now, I know where this is because of how long I've been playing. But here is where we are at. So the way you can do that is you'll probably spawn near one of these larger towns. If you spawn in the middle of nowhere, you can just run towards the coast and you'll kind of figure out where you're at. Just find a town, find a street sign, you can figure it out. So we're at Solnichny. So now that we know where we are, we can figure out what we're going to do next. So we can turn off looking at all those spawns. So what we want is military loot. Military loot is the good stuff. If you look at the map, like all of the military loot, all the large numbers of dots, is on the left side of the map here. So what we're going to want to do is make our way towards the left side of our map. We're going to want to go to the northwest airfield here. This is probably, you've heard this a million times. This is the northwest airfield. And then up here, this is the Tizzy military base. This is the top of the line gear. So we're going to want to kind of plan out our route from Solnichny to at least the northwest airfield. So if we're looking for it, getting started, we're going to want to start by following roads. So what we can do is, we know we want to travel west, and we are facing south, because if we go back to Dayz, if you look at the coast, this is the east. The moon's over there, it's rising in the east. This is the east. So if we turn to the right, now east is to our left, we're facing south. So that means all the town is down here. That means we're facing south. So we're going to come south till we hit this road here, then we're going to head west. And then the next town we're going to go into is Dolina. So now that we know our route that we want to take just a little bit, that we get started heading towards the northwest airfield, we're actually going to want to change servers. So, because it's dark and you don't have anything, you can't see at all, we're just learning the game, we're going to want to change servers. So hit escape, go to exit. Now you're going to get this wonderful countdown here. Stay in for the countdown. Stay in for those 15 seconds. If you click exit now and leave the game before those 15 seconds are up, your character will stay in at least those 15 seconds. Me personally, I believe that the character stays in up to 30 seconds if you click exit now. So you can wait 10 seconds, click exit now, and your character won't be in for 5 seconds. I think that your character is going to be in for another 30 seconds. Just from how I've experienced things, where I've gone to log out where I had to leave, so I clicked Alt F4. I just got up and left my computer. I shut it down. I left it. I didn't have time to really log off. And then I would come back, and I was in the woods somewhere, and I had taken zombie damage and a bunch of different damage. So I was bleeding and all that stuff when I came back. I was hungry and I was thirsty, and there's a punishment for clicking exit now. So don't do it. Just wait those 15 seconds. You can do it. Unless there's something vital. It's not a big deal. It's just a video game. So, we will now find another game. I'm going to look for one that's not accelerated time, because it should be middle of the day right now, and if it's not accelerated time, it should be middle of the day in game. So we have found our new server. It's got decent ping, so we're going to go ahead and click play, one that's highlighted in red. Ooh, never had that before. Alright. Let's try that again. Not on did I join an experimental server? This one's accelerated time. This one isn't. Alright. Let's join this. That's not experimental. Yeah, it's not experimental. So, we're back in the game now. And I guess that server went down because we are back right in front of this sign. When you log out, it should have spawned me in back here. That's probably why we had the database error. There was something wrong. The server must have reset as we were logging out. So, we're still in Solnichny. And now we gotta start looting because we're hungry and thirsty still, even after we ate our soda and our pear. So, when you spawn in, you're going to be in first person like this. I probably should have gone over this immediately. You tap that nice V key to change your perspective. You can also tap enter on your numpad and on your keyboard to change your perspective, but that's not in your keybinds. It doesn't show you that in your keybinds for some reason. And you can't change that. You can change V to whatever button you want, but that's how you do it. So, in my experience with Dayz, along the coast, you want to loot these industrial buildings. These industrial buildings have the best stuff for coastal play. So, as you're going around, check that you can open these cargo containers. It doesn't look like you can open them. And you're going to want to look for loot. So right now, loot does not spawn inside of containers like trash cans and stuff. They can spawn inside of backpacks and clothing. And we'll go over that if we see it. So, here's our first piece of clothing. We're going to want to change clothing. If we hit tab while looking at this, we can see that the pea coat has 0 of 30 open slots. So that's the number of slots that are in the clothing. This has 20 slots. Then if you hover over the pea coat, you can see that it is damaged, its weight, and then a description. If we go over to the hoodie, we can look at its damage, which it is pristine, its weight, and then a description. If you want more information on an object, you can click that middle mouse wheel while looking at it. I guess you can't do it in this section. If you want to look at the item, you have to go up to where it is on your character. and then you can look at the description of the object. You generally don't need to do that. But anyways, one thing that I see people do all the time while playing this game is they will drag it over here to equipment and drop it. You don't need to do that. They have changed something without telling anybody. You can take this, drag it over top of your character here, and drop it. And it puts it on. And it takes your shirt and drops it on the ground where the pea coat was. And now, you had stuff in here, and you want to keep this stuff. You want to keep that rag, you want to keep that road flare, and you want to keep that stone knife. So, what you can do is you can double click the rag, double click the road flare, and now for the knife, we're going to click and drag that to our hands. Now, we're going to crouch down. Actually, you don't even need to crouch down. Just look at the hoodie and hold down that left mouse button. That starts putting you into the animation to cut something up. Now you got some rags on the floor. You can press F to take that, and now go back to your inventory, and now you can either drag the knife to the inventory slot, or you can double click it to put it away. So that was real quick some inventory management stuff. So the rags is one of the kinds of bandages in this game. You want to keep your rags split up. You can see here that the hiking pants are pristine and the pea coat is damaged. So what that tells you is different clothing will take different damage, and it all depends on where you're shot. So if you're shot in your pants or hit in your pants, your stuff in your pants and your pants will get ruined. They will take damage. It will go from pristine to worn to damaged to very damaged to ruined. Ruined clothing you cannot put on at all. So you're going to take your rags, your brand new set of rags, and split them up so that you have rags in two separate locations. So what that ensures is if somebody shoots you in that chest, in your chest, and it ruins everything in your pea coat, ruins your rags, but you run away, you're hiding in some barn somewhere, you're sitting in the corner and you're scared out of your dickens, you don't even know what's going on, but you can see this little blood indicator here, that's 3 arrows going down. Take those rags, put them in your hands, and you can bandage until you're not bleeding anymore. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to check the rest of this building here for more inventory stuff. So, here's the next thing. I found this nice hat here. I'm going to drop it on the ground because we don't want that hat. That hat gives us no physical protection. This hockey helmet gives us some physical protection. So if you're looking at an item and you have the free inventory space on your character up here, you can press F and it'll auto assign to the inventory space. Now if I'm looking at this hat, I can press F and it'll go into my inventory. So I can drag from my inventory onto my character and replace, or I can drag to the hat and it'll show up blue and I can replace like that. I am going to keep the hockey helmet because it provides some real protection rather than the hat, which just provides warmth. So we can see here we found a soda. Press F to put that into our inventory. Now that it's in our inventory, we can hit tab, double click the soda, it pops into our hands. Hold the left mouse button, you can walk around, you can continue looting while you're drinking, you can look around, you You can't actually interact with things while you're drinking. Or doing an action, like eating or drinking. You can't actually interact, but you can move around. So, here we're finding a couple new sets of clothing. These pants aren't better. If we look at them, they look a little better. I think we want these pants. So you can go about it and pick what you want. Make sure you keep those rags split up. We can actually cut this up, and then we can go over the max stacking of rags. So here you can see that it is written out. Well, I guess you can't see it there. It says on the rag icon, where you can press F to take, it says 4 of 6. That means the max stack is 6. So we have 4, 4, and 4. If we drag it over top of the other rags, it will stack that one to its highest. And then if we drag this down here, it'll stack this one to the highest. So whatever you're dragging, you will put as much as you can into that one. I can't add any more to this one, so it'll swap. So I want 6 there and 6 there. So that is the max amount of rags that you can carry. Depending on how many times you are hit for bleeding, you will need to bandage that many times. So if you get shot 2 times, you're bleeding 2 times, you will need to bandage twice using 2 rags. So that's that makes rags very useful, aside from the other bandaging methods. So you're going to come up to the doors, you're going to press F to open them, and you're going to loot through these houses. And there's a wonderful pink ski mask that I don't think we actually want to keep because it is a very, very bright color. So we're trying to go for as environmentally blendy as possible. So if we lay down in the grass, we want to look like a piece of grass. So that is our goal. Okay. Here is a backpack that has something in it. And you can tell that it has something in it because it has the brackets with the plus in the middle. That tells you that that inventory has something in it. So we don't have a backpack. We'll press F to put that on our back. Now we can press tab to see what's in it. Oh, this is soda. We're going to go ahead and drink that right now. So, while you're eating or performing those animations, you can stop at any time and it'll stop the animation. And this is our lucky day. We have found, I think it's the second largest backpack in the game, in a very, very nice color, in green. Something that blends better than a fluorescent pink ski mask. So we will take that. So I saw a zombie around the corner here. There's a zombie right there. You can see it walking away. We want to avoid that right now. We have nothing to really... Shit. And now she's coming towards us. Okay. We want to avoid the zombies right now. They generally do not aggro through buildings at you. So you're pretty safe in a building. If you need safety, close the doors, and they will eventually lose their aggro and wander away. So keep that in mind if you get into trouble at the beginning of the game when you're first spawned in. Like, we can demonstrate it here. So she will spot us like that. Now she'll turn. She still hasn't. Now she's turned. Now she's aggroed. So we will run into a building, close the door. And she's coming in. So we close the door again. That was stressful. So she is aggroed on us. She wants to eat our brains. If we're quiet in here for long enough, though, she will lose that aggro. And we will be able to sneak out to the other side. So that is how you want to deal with zombies for right now. You do not want to get into a fight with zombies. Oh shit, she did not lose her aggro. I thought she would have lost her aggro. She's still very angry with us. So, you can see her ugly face right there. You don't want to fight zombies. Zombies are bad. They make you bleed, they ruin your stuff. You want to avoid it as much as possible. Especially before you are geared up and you have a hatchet or some other distance melee weapon that will stagger them. You want to avoid fighting. And generally with zombies, you can fight one. You can fight them one at a time. If you end up fighting more than one, you're gonna get knocked unconscious. Two or more, it just becomes a pain in the butt to deal with. You can handle it, but it's not great. The better option is to run for the nearest building, lock yourself in, and wait for the aggro to go away. So, while we're waiting for the aggro to go away, it would be a great time to go over this little thing on the bottom right. This first thing, the plus here, is your health. That is on a scale of 0 to 100. 0, you're dead. Plain and simple. 0, you're dead. So you don't get to know those numbers. It is not perfect information. It will go from the white to a yellow to a red, and then you will be dead. Similar with the blood is not as vital as the health, but it is very vital to keep your blood in check. You want to keep all that very slippery red stuff inside your body. So, the full white here means you're at full blood. If you get hit, you will lose blood and health. If you get hit and start bleeding, you will see 3 of these little down arrows going down from the blood. And you will bandage, and you will bandage, and you will bandage until those arrows stop going, until you can't bandage anymore, where you have no option to bandage like we do right now with the rag in our hand. And then, when your blood starts going back up, your health can start going back up too. To get your blood back up, you need to have your food and your water, the apple and the water bottle, all the way up in the white. And then the health, or the thermometer here, I don't believe you need that to be in the white. It is an indicator of your temperature. It can go into the yellow if you're getting too hot, and it will go into the blue if you're getting too cold. If you're getting too cold, your character will get the shakes, and it becomes a pain in the ass to shoot anything. So, I don't believe there are any real consequences for getting too cold yet, but there will be. So, we'll go over how to make fires and stuff later. But for right now, we're gonna keep looting this town. And if we remember looking at the did she aggro him? Yes, she is. So I am doing what I said not to do. Fighting this. So when you're fighting zombies, combat, you're gonna want to press the right mouse button. I didn't actually take the knife into my hands, which is concerning. But you want to press the right mouse button, and then the left mouse button throws a punch. You can chain stuff together by pressing the left mouse button multiple times while fighting. And you'll start to get a feeling for that timing. As you're fighting, it takes away stamina. Once you get down to very low stamina, you stop doing the powerful attacks and you start doing little jabs. Those little jabs do a lot less damage and they're a lot less powerful. So, while you're fighting, you want to time the stuff so that you can use the powerful attacks as much as you can. And those also have a stronger staggering effect. So, there's also spacebar to jump. It's incredibly new technology. And I thought I would actually be able to jump over that fence, but apparently not.